Hi everyone, welcome to Hack the Match. I'm Andrew Kowalski and I'm the founder of Hack the Match. Before we go any further, please click subscribe. We're going to be posting a lot of these videos where I'm going to be sharing some of my insights and hopefully give you an advantage on the upcoming match. In addition, I want you to check out www.hackthematch.com. Here is where we have a bunch of our courses. And I offer courses on everything from the observership all the way through the interview, insights into the personal statement and CV, insights into the interview, and also personalized coaching. So if you're interested, please take a look at it. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. So at this time, we just concluded the match and we just concluded SOAP. And I know there's a lot of excitement and there's also a lot of apprehension and tears. I do want to congratulate my observers last year because without them, Hack the Match would not exist. And I know that they all matched at their, I would say top, if not top 3 programs. And I know they're going to do well. So congratulations to you guys. And thank you for pushing me to put all this together. So as I mentioned in the intro video, I'm a US IMG. I've been on both sides of the fence from the interview process to being the interviewer. And, you know, there's a lot of things that are just repetitive that's been going on since I was applying to residency. And it's time for a change. And I want to show you guys some insights into how to make your application better and how to give you the advantage on the application and in the interview to make them want you and remember you. But right now we're talking about what to do in the interim. Match just ended. Now, I really want to stress this. Do not give up. Do not give up on your dream. All right? This is just a little milestone. Think about how far you came. You guys are going to do great. Okay? I promise you that. You're going to do great. And I want to help you do that. Okay? So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over a couple of things that I find extremely important that you can add to your CV to boost your application and to make you a little bit more desirable, to give you that additional edge when you're going to be applying this coming September, and something to talk about during your interviews. So on some personal insights that I have, what I wanted to share is that programs want maturity. There's 3 things that programs want. When you get the interview, you were basically selected out of probably 1,000 applications, if not more, depending on what program. Then it was funneled down to probably about a couple hundred, and then that was funneled down to about maybe 100 or so. So because you got an interview, think about how many steps you had to go through. The interview basically means that on paper, they want you. They want you to be there. They want you to match. And I want you to remember that. If you're getting an interview, they want you. And now, how do you make them want you even more? How do you make them remember you? That's the interview part. So in the interview, they want to see if you're crazy, they want to see if you can play well in the sand, and they want to see some maturity. Now, I'm not saying that you guys don't have that or didn't have that at the last, during this past match, if you guys are, attempting to match again, but I want you to think about that because I'm going to be hitting on some of those aspects when we move a little further, okay? So first things first, array rotations. I know that it's been really hard with array rotations right now. We have, COVID going on. They're not allowing in-person rotations, and U.S. clinical experience is key to the interview process. And I'm sure you guys have saw this. You either yourself or your friends have phenomenal scores, off-the-chart scores, but no interviews. And a lot of that has to do with there's no clinical experience. But I tell you, shop around because there are programs and opportunities that are out there. I'm not going to make huge promises. I'm still taking observers, but I don't know how many of us there are out there, but please continue to look. Talk to your school, talk to your advisor, talk to your seniors, talk to anybody, talk to your, classmates from, undergrad or wherever they're going right now. If they're in a different med school, what are they doing different? But there are things that are out there. I'm going to do a completely different video about observerships because there's a lot of things that are out there and a lot of observer opportunities that are very shady and they're money makers. And there's a lot of high quality observerships because remember, your observership and your away rotation is your key to an excellent letter of recommendation as well as an interview without an interview. So what do I mean by that? I mean that when you're doing an observership, you're basically interviewing for that spot, because the attending that you're with is going to have the PD's ear if that is a teaching hospital, and you're in the process. They get to see you in action. They get to see your medical knowledge. They get to see how you interact with patients. You get to have conversations. And if you do get one of these observerships or away rotations or electives, make yourself seen. Hashtag show face. Try to go to the conferences. Try to go to Morning Report. Try to participate if you can. This is where you can show them that, hey, look at me. I want to be there. Now, obviously, don't be arrogant. Don't be over the top, but show that you care. And if you can, try to meet with the program director in the beginning and at the end, right? Show face. Show them that you're interested. Share some of your insights that you got out of the observership or the elective, right? Have that dialogue. Establish that relationship. I'm telling you, it's going to go far, and you're going to end up falling back on some of these awesome experiences in the future. Now, outside of gaining experiences through way rotations, try to see if you can get some research experience too. Research has its weight in gold in pretty much all specialties, I'm telling you. Going down to the third point, in a 2014 survey, nearly half of all PDs stated that demonstrating an involvement or interest in research was a factor in selecting applicants for the interview. So almost half the program directors out there are looking for well-rounded candidates, is what it's saying. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do research in the particular specialty that you're going into. However, that is always a nice thing. But the point of getting involved in research is to make you more well-rounded and to show that you care about medicine, you care about advancing the field. Now, doing research doesn't necessarily mean doing bench research, crunching numbers, and all that. I mean, we're talking about a short period between now and applying for the next 2023 match. But research, in quotations, means any sort of scholarly activity. This includes writing case reports, poster presentations, oral presentations at conferences that are coming up, as well as review articles and so forth. Anything that you can do to show that you still care is important. And all that goes on your application. All that is something that you can talk about during your interview. Just because you did research and nothing was published yet doesn't mean you can't talk about it. That's time that you put in. So that's an advantage that you have. So please consider doing research as an opportunity. One of the things that I found really interesting when I started doing research for this, and what I found interesting about candidates that I interviewed, is trying to get involved in a leadership position. So what do I mean by that? Actually, anything. Take a look at the second box. 63% of program directors in that 2014 survey stated that they value leadership qualities. So how do you become a leader? Well, think about joining an interest group, anything on social media, anything in your school, anything in your community. You can pretty much do whatever you want, and there's a lot of opportunities to be a leader. It's an excellent way to learn about your field, to take the initiative, and to demonstrate your commitment to the profession. Not to mention, if there isn't something that's out there, then go ahead and start one. Be that outside of the box thinker. If you have a passion for something, please, by all means, go ahead and do it. I have a really good example for that. I have an observer who, I don't know if she knew ahead of time what she was looking for, but when we started talking about the interview process and how to formulate your application and so forth, she became so motivated on trying to help other students that was her niche. That is something that she can do. That's a leadership position that she took on, and she can continue to run with that and help other students from her school. Facebook groups, starting your own groups, doing something in the community. AMA has tons of resources for this too. Please get involved. That's going to be huge. Not to mention, it's going to boost your application, and it's going to give you something to talk about during your interview. Now, this is an expensive one, but if you have the option, try to go for a second degree. I know there's not a lot of things out there, and how much are you really going to accomplish in this short amount of time, but there are some degrees that are available. So it's an accelerated program. Usually they're MBAs or MPHs. A lot of these you can do online. You don't have to physically go to class, which is really nice. I've talked to a lot of PDs that seeing students with dual degrees gives that student or applicant an advantage. It makes them more well-rounded. It gives them more insight into the world. Medicine is great, and any medical school will most likely prepare you well for your career. But in terms of health policy, public health, and business in general, we are terrible at it. So obtaining a second degree and putting that to good use is huge. And again, it's just going to help you on your application. Finally, try to become a volunteer. Now, this kind of goes hand in hand with the leadership bit, but 54% of program directors indicated that community service was a factor in selecting applicants. And why is that? It's because that over the last 5 years, there has been a huge push to help underserved communities. And a lot of programs are looking for diversity. Diversity in terms of the cultural background of the residents and diversity in the economic classes of the residents. Because for the most part, folks that come from other countries or folks that come from other cultures or economic backgrounds than what is usually in the vicinity of the school want to give back to their community. And this is a huge advantage for the school, and it's a huge advantage for the community because now you have a doctor coming back to the community to help you out. So having that volunteer experience and showing that drive and passion that you care, again, is just going to boost your application. So I just want to say thanks so much for listening to this little tidbit and some of my insight. Again, check out Hack the Match. I'm telling you, you're not going to be disappointed. There's a lot more info there. And again, subscribe to hackthematch.com. And we're going to be posting a lot more videos and a lot more topics coming up. Take care.